Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this video, we are reviewing Neo Ultra Q, now on Blu-ray from Mill Creek Entertainment. I've had a blast watching this series. Spoilers, I love it. Ultra Q is such a cool part of the Ultra franchise. You know, this is the franchise that gave us Ultraman, but all of the Ultra shows don't have Ultraman in them. In fact, this is a good opportunity to talk about Ultra Q because this is where it all started. And we've reviewed, there's a full review for this. I'm going to link to that right here. If you don't see it here, check the video description below. Ultra Q is kind of an anomaly now joining, or Neo Ultra Q joins Ultra Q. There's no gigantic Ultraman hero. These are people dealing with extraordinary circumstances, and they allow, just like Godzilla, the first Godzilla, and Godzilla has become this fun, huge, like, let them fight kind of a thing, but it didn't start that way. It started as a commentary on Japan's history with, how there were so many tragedies born out of what had happened in their heritage, what had happened in the culture in the World War II era. Ultra Q, similar. It's about, there's these basically different investigators who are, they come from different fields, they have different specialties, but they're investigating the mysteries of the world, the mysteries that occur around them, and it's kind of like the X-Files. But of course, we're talking about this going back to the 60s. And so usually it's about things that, like, nature out of balance. It's about things that we can't possibly understand. If you like H.P. Lovecraft, you probably really dig Ultra Q. And I know, since Mill Creek has been putting out these Ultraman shows on Blu-ray, a lot of people, not a lot, I can't say a lot. I have heard from people who have skipped Ultra Q and started with Ultraman. I think you need to start here. I think that this is the show that introduces so many of the monsters. It introduces the themes. This is where it all began. And so this is the 60s. This is, I think, 1965 into 66. You guys, all these years later, Neo Ultra Q comes along, and it's essentially like a second season of the original Ultra Q. They don't act necessarily that no time, it's not like no time has passed. Like, cars are modern, there's, cell phones and stuff like that, but all of the video, like the style, it's desaturated, so it looks kind of more old school. The logo, the intro, the way that Ultra Q starts is like this swirly screen. It'd be like, it's just this very unique drum, and like it has this unique sound, and they've replicated that here. And there's so much love for the original Ultra Q. Even the theme song, it had this very James Bond theme song. So I could keep going, but there's so much about Ultra Q that is a reaction to Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, James Bond, just what was happening and what was cool in the 60s. And so it's got this theme song with this guitar, and it's just kind of like dum 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 dum, kind of like that. Same, the exact same. Horns, brass, twangy Bond guitar. But of course, this is just talking about the presentation. What is the show? So this is essentially kind of picking up where Ultra Q leaves off. These investigators, these very smart people who are leaders in their field, are kind of investigating the mysteries of the world, of the world around them. And I gotta tell you guys, coming off of so much Ultraman, so much Ultraman, I don't even have to go through it all, but we're talking about, Ultraman, Ultraman Ace, Return, like all these different Ultraman shows, X, Geed, Orb, I've watched so much Ultraman. To go back to an idea where there are no Ultramen, where there's no gigantic space heroes, and it's just like us humans dealing with what's larger than them and what they can't possibly understand. Man, it is good. And this show is so, like, Ultraman is of course like an action show, and so there's fighting in every episode. It does have a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of, like, we have to stop that monster. Like, every one of them is kind of like a miniature monster movie. However, it's really smart, and the writing is so different from Ultraman. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, so I'll just say, there's one episode where there's a guy, he's basically trapped in a cave, and there's a hole in the middle of the cave, a hole in the ground in the middle of the cave, and it's covered with a lid. And basically the devil appears to him and he says, take the lid off uncover the lid, take the lid off the hole. And most of the episode takes place with this man in the hole being tempted by, it was Mara, which is what, an Indian concept, right? It's like the devil is like explaining I call him the devil, but he's the force of evil. He's like, good and evil, these don't exist. These are constructs that you have invented. Take the lid off the hole. Fascinating stuff. And again, it's not an action thing. It's like, it's scary and it's creepy and it's ominous. There's one that's about, again, I'm not telling you enough to spoil it. I'm not telling you how anything ends, just kind of premises. Like science has created artificial humans, but these artificial humans do not seem to be able to love like humans do. And it's this very cerebral, very creepy kind of Stepford Wives look at what makes people human and can that be replicated. It's a very smart show. And if you're coming out of like all these giant kaiju battles and stuff like that, there are lots of kaiju in the first episode of this. Has a giant kaiju that has come from space and landed on Earth. Why is it here? What is it doing? But the way they deal with this is so different, because normally, like in Ultraman, he'd be like, well, we have to stop that kaiju, and then they'd fight the kaiju, and then he'd deal with it. He'd probably cut him into 5 pieces and send those pieces into space, and he like blasts them with beams. This is so very different because there's no one coming to save anybody. It's humans on their own, and I love that. I was just not prepared for it. I should have been, because that is essentially what Ultra Q is about. All these monsters and just there's no hero in this to come save us from all these monsters. It's about, often there is no salvation, it's kind of like, well, it's this duality. It's the yin and the yang. It's the karma. It's all these big concepts from different religions and different philosophies that have found their way into the writing of this. And it's so poignant. And so I told Bree, I was like, it's like watching little half-hour art films, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like in a pretentious, unwatchable, like, oh, this is art. It's not like that. They're just really well done. And it's really cool. There's only 12 episodes, which I wish, this is like double that, I wish that there was more of this, but they only made 12. This is the Blu-ray box set, just out from Mill Creek. Here, I'll show you the back of the package. Of course, it's a modern series. It's full color. Let's see if there's a year on here. This series is not that old. The series is just a few years old. I don't see a year, but we have a slipcase. We have the Blu-ray case here itself. There is a movie spree code, so you could have it digitally and then pop up the Movie Spree app on Roku, your Roku device, or however you do it. And here's the discs themselves. There's 2 discs, 6 episodes per disc, 3, and it's over all too soon. It really is. I can you tell? Like I wanted more of this. I really like this series. It's so refreshing. Mill Creek, if you guys are watching this video, the release strategy that you guys have adopted for these is very well done. You do like a classic era, like a Showa era, then you do a more modern one. You kind of work your way backwards with the new stuff. You work your way forward with the old stuff. This is just at the right time. You know what I mean? This came along it's like a palate cleanser, It's like, ooh, it just got real. It's like, like we're having fun, you're having fun, and then somebody's like, hey guys, what about this? And you're just like, whoa. That's what it's like. It makes you kind of stop. And it's as the schedule for 2020 is kind of winding down, the release schedule for Ultraman in 2020 is kind of winding down. This is a great place to just kind of catch your breath, reassess where we're at, and just enjoy a look back at where it all began. I gotta tell you guys, the writing for this and the poignancy, the impact of this. There's an episode about this alien who does laundry, and it's funny, and you're like, oh my goodness, like he's a laundry man in Japan, and they'll bring them their laundry. His name is Mr. Brethren. They'll be like, Mr. Brethren, would you do our laundry? And he takes their dirty laundry to the back, and he's like, and it's like sprays foam all over it, and it's funny. And there's sound effects like dling, dling, like video game sound effects. But then it gets poignant, and it gets like really like, whoa. There's like ups and downs. If you guys can't tell, I really enjoy Neo Ultra Q. So I'm going to put, I'm releasing this video on the day that this is officially available for ordering. You guys, I'm going to put a purchase link to this in the video description. You can also find it at serialatmidnight.com. I can't recommend it enough. If you're into science fiction, if you're into Japanese entertainment, not just Japanese science fiction, but the kaiju sort of a thing, this is something different. And I don't know how common this is. And it feels special. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels kind of apart and special. So I like it a lot. Guys, Neo Ultra Q available now. If you pick this up, let me know what you think about it. I really would like to, I like to continue these conversations. I'd love to know what you think about this. Guys, thanks so much. Neo Ultra Q, Serial at Midnight approved. Thanks to Mill Creek for sending this so that I could watch it and review it ahead of time and have this ready to go on release date. That's important. That's kind of fun and awesome. So thanks to Mill Creek. Thanks to you guys. Take care. And until next time, I will catch you later.